Okay, hello. Let's talk about how to use the wings and the strings when you're drawing with linear perspective. So what you should have set up on your workspace is your newsprint and your wings. So your wings need to be taped down to actually where the ends of the wings are, because when we pull on the string, we don't want the wings to flap around. If they're moving around, that's going to be very difficult. So there's my other string and wing setup over there. Now, we are using these strings to help us find the converging lines because, again, our horizon line has been extended and the vanishing points have been extended outside the frame of your composition. So I'm going to draw the first corner of my structure here. So there we go. So I'm going to just draw a straight vertical line. I'm going to make it 2 inches because I don't want a thin building, okay? So my first structure is going to be 2 inches. Now to find the converging lines that go to the vanishing point over there, I'm going to use my strings. So I'm going to hold my string out. I'm not going to pull it to the point where it pops out of the wing, but I'm going to hold it taut, and I'm going to make sure the bottom lines up with this edge of the vertical line. I'm going to make a little mark just on the edge of my paper, and I'm going to do the same thing for the top. Now these little dots, they're not vanishing points, but if I were to take my ruler and have it continue past that little line I made, it would meet up at the vanishing point on the left. So I don't want my building to go outside the composition, so I'm just going to have it go up a bit, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. But notice how I'm taking the top of my ruler, I'm lining it up with this little mark right here. And then I'm going to close off this edge here just by drawing a vertical line. And then I can erase any extra converging lines that I don't need. But now I need to draw the other side. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the string on the right side now because I got to find those 2 converging lines that go to the vanishing point on the right, which is over there. So again, holding the string taut, not to the point where it's going to move, and I made a little mark right there so I know that this goes to that vanishing point, and then the same thing here. Taking my ruler, going to now make sure this is lined up with the dot over there. This is so I don't have to line it up to the vanishing point. Draw my line. Actually, I'm going to make this a longer structure. Okay. And then I'm going to actually have it end right here. I'm deciding that. I'm not going to give you specific measurements. Just don't make them tiny. Now I need to figure out the top. So I'm going to take this back. I'm going to take the string that's going to the right vanishing point, line it up with this edge here, make a little mark, right? So I'm going to take my ruler, line it up there. It's just like when you're drawing a box using 2-point perspective. That's literally what you're doing, right? There's already the top appearing, and I'm going to take my other string that goes to the right vanishing point, make sure it doesn't pop out of the little piece there, but look, it actually crisscrosses, right? You can see the box, right? You can see the end of it. So I'm actually just going to make a little line there instead of drawing it right at the edge. Take my ruler, and then I'm going to erase any converging lines that I don't need anymore. So now we have a rectangular box in 2-point perspective. These 2 lines go to that vanishing point on the top right. These line and that line, they go to the vanishing point on the top left. Now, if I need to continue, I'm going to continue, right? So to continue, what I would do, let's say I want to put another box down here, just like floating down there, because I'm not sure, I want to make sure I just start with a couple boxes. I could start with a 1-inch line, and then it's going to be the same thing. Taking my string, making sure it's lining up. So at some point, your artwork's going to have a lot of little marks along the sides of the paper. That's totally normal because you're using the strings as a tool. So then I would just continue, right? Take my string, make a mark along the edge of my paper. And then I'm going to actually have this go all the way to underneath here. I'm going to have some overlapping right away. So that's how you work the wings and strings.